I.S.S. As with any review, this may contain spoilers. This is an odd movie. The story felt incomplete, especially the end, which I'll get to later. The story begins with two astronauts boarding the International Space Station. The film tells us that the International Space Station is a joint venture between the US and Russia following the Cold War, and that the ISS is used as a research facility. The crew of 6 is divided in half, 3 astronauts and 3 cosmonauts. One of the astronauts, while looking out a window, sees an explosion on Earth. She thinks it might be a volcano until she sees multiple blasts. Alarms go off in the ISS, and each crew receives orders that there is a war between the US and Russia, and each needs to take control of the station by any means necessary. That sounds intriguing on paper, but how it was executed didn't make sense. If the ISS is a research station and no weapons are being developed there, what's the point of taking over by any means necessary? The story to me is making something out of nothing. We do learn that one of the cosmonauts is developing some type of antidote for nuclear exposure or something to that effect. However, the message the US crew receives about taking over the station doesn't mention that, and so the US crew wouldn't know anything about it. It's those types of storylines, when you think them over, you start seeing the holes in the story. As I mentioned, that could make for an exciting story, but the excitement starts to fade when you begin to process the story further. The ending, which I mentioned earlier, was the most baffling part of the movie. There was no actual resolution, and I wonder if the studio and filmmakers thought there would be a sequel. I don't think they thought that would be the case, and the box office is not looking great for any chance of a sequel. I like the cast for the most part. The cast was led by Ariana DeBose, but I didn't really like her performance. Her performance to me was too subdued. I didn't get an emotional connection to her character. I was first introduced to Ariana in her role as Anita in the latest West Side Story film that came out in 2021. I thought she was great in that part. She showed a lot of range and her performance was dynamic in that role. Unfortunately, in I.S.S, her performance was lackluster. Perhaps if her performance would have been better, I would have liked the film more. But since it wasn't, I ended up having a tepid response to the film. Overall, the movie was disappointing, but that doesn't mean you would enjoy it, and it might be worth watching. Thank you for watching, and check out my other reviews. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of the movie. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps a lot. See you in the next review.